office. This is your weekly update for the Oklahoma Cattlemen's Association for the week of September 7th. This is Labor Day week for 2020, and so we're actually coming to you on Tuesday rather than on our normal Monday because holiday weekends really don't exist much for cattle producers, do they? Because you're doing the good work every day. Those cattle require us to be out there and taking care of them, or at least arranging for them to be taken care of. Maybe every now and again we get a chance to run off and have a little bit of a vacation or some family time, and hope you had some time to do that. And certainly hope you had some time to fire up the grill and enjoy some great beef products over this past holiday weekend, kind of the last holiday weekend for beef grilling. Grilling doesn't shut off at my house ever, as I'm sure it doesn't at yours, but traditionally that was the last grilling holiday of the year before we move into fall and winter. Hey, I want to bring you some updates on a few of the things that we're working on your behalf. We submitted comments last week to the federal government, specifically to the Fish and Wildlife Service, regarding the definition of habitat. They had put out a rule that asking for comments regarding the definition of habitat relative to the Endangered Species Act. Obviously, the Endangered Species Act, or ESA, is something that we in Oklahoma are familiar with, whether it be the lesser prairie chicken or the burying beetle or the darter, the small fish up in the northeast part of the state. Some other examples as well, but certainly the ESA is something that we're familiar with and working on quite often an occasional basis, because the Endangered Species Act, if a species is listed as threatened or endangered, can heavily impact even private property rights and what you can do on your own land. And so we want to make sure we provided comments to the Fish and Wildlife Service regarding the definition of habitat. A little bit later, another rule has coming out that will define critical habitat. And one of the things that we made in our comments was there's a very distinct difference between habitat and critical habitat. Habitat can be obviously a much larger or broader scope than critical habitat, and therefore the law, the Endangered Species Act, should recognize those differences and always base any decisions on sound science and use the most updated and latest science. And so we'll be prepared to make comments on critical habitat when those comments are due in about a month or so. We'll also be working on a set of comments to the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, regarding the foot and mouth disease vaccine development. They're asking for comments a little bit later this week. I believe maybe the beginning of next week is when those comments are due, but we'll be putting in those comments regarding the development of a foot and mouth disease vaccine. Obviously, that's very important to our industry. That disease itself would devastate our industry, if nothing else, just the stop movement orders that would come to try to isolate and prohibit that disease from spreading. And so the development of a vaccine, and there are vaccines that are developed, but to have a good, healthy vaccine bank that's very robust is very, very important. And we know why that's very important. Hey, the exec committee, the OCA exec committee, will be meeting later this week. They'll be working on a couple of different task forces. At our convention, membership approved the process to create an update to our strategic plan to move into 2021 to 2023. That plan will be rolled out at the winter policy meeting in January. The exec committee this Friday will meet to create the task force that will develop that proposed plan for members to consider. Another task force that the exec committee will be working on is the bylaws task force. It's just healthy for an organization every now and again to review their bylaws, to make any needed updates, maybe based on technologies or changes in demographics or whatever the case may be. And so that group will just be taking a look at our bylaws and making some proposed modifications and updates that the membership can consider. The board can then consider, hopefully at our November board meeting, and possibly even, if it takes a little longer, into our winter policy meeting in January. We do continue to meet with legislators and candidates. Had an opportunity to, on Tuesday here today, to meet with a couple of candidates down in the southwest part of the state. Dick Lowe, who's running for the House in kind of the Chickasha area, and then west is his district, and then Jessica Garvin, who's running for the Senate, and she has Duncan, Marlow, Rush Springs, and then that district kind of peels up into Newcastle. and so had an opportunity to meet with both of those candidates today. I want to encourage you, if you don't know the candidates in your respective representative and senator, and I'm speaking state for a moment, let me just confine my comments to state elections, encourage you to reach out and get to know them. Get to know those candidates. If you find a good candidate that you believe would be good for the beef cattle industry, for the issues that are important to you, encourage you to support them. Get to know them first and foremost, but also support them. Maybe a sign, a yard sign, or a bigger sign, and sure, even consider supporting them monetarily. It takes a lot of dollars to run a successful campaign, and so encourage you to consider doing that. But first and foremost, make sure they know who you are and that you are a reliable resource, that they can maybe reach out to you from time to time during the session, during the year. If they have a question about the beef cattle industry or your business or a business model, you can be a resource to them. Encourage you to do that. And then if you don't mind, feed that information to us up here at the state office and at OCA, and then where the decisions are made by for our beef pack, so we can write beef pack checks to those candidates and those legislators who support the beef cattle industry and value a good and thriving beef cattle industry here in the state of Oklahoma. So we'll continue to do that. Meet with those legislatures, encourage you to do that, meet with those candidates who are running for the legislature as we move towards the November meeting, the November election. Speaking of coming events as well, I shared with you this last week, and I'll reiterate again, the beef tent. We're excited about being able to do the beef tent this coming year at the Tulsa State Fair, the shortened Tulsa State Fair, only the junior livestock portion. We'll only be there about a week. That counts setup days, so we'll go up on a Monday, set up on a Monday, Tuesday, and then open on a Wednesday, and then we'll serve Wednesday through Sunday, and then finish your wrap up late Sunday evening and Monday, and move out. So we're thrilled to be able to provide our world famous ribeye steak sandwiches for the Tulsa State Fair. If you plan to make the Tulsa State Fair, then swing by and enjoy a ribeye steak sandwich with us there. We'll be in our regular normal spot. Everything will be pretty much the same as always, other than just a shortened fair season, a shortened time period, and our hours may adjust a little bit based upon the expected crowd and kind of when crowds will be there and won't be there. Obviously, there won't be any carnival, midway, or concert or entertainment of that nature, so we may not run as late into the evening as what we normally would when there's a big concert or something, and we may have some customers later in the day. Excuse me, but we're looking forward to the beef tent there at the Tulsa State Fair, and look forward to having you swing by and see us. Hey, if you need anything, if we can help you with your business or whatever the case may be, don't hesitate to give us a holler. We know that this time of year is calf weaning time. I know a lot of you have talked to a lot of OCA members who are weaning calves right now, whatever the case may be. So again, we just wish you safety and health during this time period as you go about your business. We'll be watching and working very hard on a daily basis for the beef cattle industry here in Oklahoma. If we can help you and do anything for you, don't hesitate to reach out for us. Reach out to us. Until next week, have a safe and healthy week, and we'll get you next week with another update. Take care.